everyone, and welcome back to episode 4 of Lucy Does Makeup. I'm Lucy, and we're going to do makeup. Today, I'm super excited because I got the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet palette. And so that's what this video is going to be all about. It's going to be me just going over my hot take first impression of this palette. So I don't usually go for nude palettes. That's not really my thing. I tend to like a more unnatural look. As you might have noticed from my other videos so far, I really like bold, vivid colors or cool colors or things with a lot of shine. So a lot of times, nude palettes are a lot of browns, warm tones, peaches, and things like that. And the Naked palette, I've heard amazing things about them. Pretty much everyone loves it, but they've all been those sort of brown nude tones. So when I saw that they came out with Ultraviolet, I got really excited. First of all, the packaging looks absolutely amazing. It's really pretty. But when I saw the lineup of the colors that would be inside, that's what really intrigued me. And I've heard that the quality of the Naked palettes is really good. So how did I get this palette? My husband and I have been playing some games together, video games lately, and we've been playing Megaman X4. And so we like to do just friendly little bets about things off and on occasionally. And so we made a little bet about the game, mostly to see, for me to test his skills as a gamer, because he's really, really good at games. Me, not so much. I'm actually really bad. My reaction speed is very slow. But he, a lot of times, will beat the bosses for me. And I'll work my way through the levels. And so I was like, do you think that you could beat this game without getting hit by any of the bosses? And he thought about it for a minute, and he said that he thought that maybe he could. And then he asked if I wanted to make, a friendly little bet on that. And so we made the bet. He told me that if he beat all the bosses without being hit, that he wanted to go out to a really nice restaurant that we really like. And then he asked me what my terms were, and I said, I want you to buy me the Ultraviolet Naked palette if you can't. So I have this palette, but to be fair though, he beat every single boss, including the end boss, without getting hit, except that the end boss has 3 stages. 3 forms, and in the last form he has sort of a randomized pattern, and my husband played against him for probably a good 30 times, maybe more, and kept getting hit just one time. He could easily beat the boss and maybe only take 1 hit, but he just finally was like, I don't have the patience to play this 200 times and get lucky with one pattern that doesn't have this certain attack, so screw it. And I happily accepted that. And also the Naked palette happened to go on sale right then, so he got the better deal anyway. And I got a better deal because I also didn't have to pay for a fancy dinner. So that's the tale behind me getting the Urban Decay, if I can say that correctly, Urban Decay Ultraviolet palette. So here is what it looks like inside. It has, our classic nudes, but they're sort of more of a champagne, and while they're warm, they're not incredibly warm tones. I think all of these I could use for like a natural look. Then here's what I'm interested in, from here to here, really. All of these different shades of purple, going down to almost a blackish purple, like maybe a eggplant color. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to do a nude look with purple accents. I'm going to see how I can make an unnatural nude look. And I've already got my face done. I have my eyelids primed. I've been powdering just my crease when priming. I'm still using the Anastasia eye primer. I really, really like it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with this color called Mind Slip right here for the lid, and we'll just go from here. And I have a mirror right here, so I'm going to try looking in the mirror without going all the way off the screen like I did last time. So, like I said, we've been playing a lot of games lately, my husband and I, and the most recent one we've been playing through is Megaman X4. It's a game that we played actually about 12 years ago, or not 12, not quite 12, almost 12 years ago when we first started dating. We're playing it on the PlayStation, and like I said, I am not, my gaming skills are not strong. James has played the game. Oops, I said his name. Schmames, my husband, has been playing that game many, many times, so he could probably play with his eyes closed. But I definitely can say that my skills have increased in playing it this time through. I could get through the levels, most of the levels, by myself with very little help, especially the longer we played. So this nude color is kind of like almost like a salmon, I would say, which I kind of like. I will say with my damp brush, it's not spreading on very well. So this may be one that does better if you keep the brush dry. And it's sort of my default to use a damp brush, so that's my bad. I don't blame the palette for that. Because I don't think that that's kind of their intention necessarily. But I'm building it up, and it's not wiping itself off or anything. So it's pretty decent. So there's that so far. I don't hate it. All right. I'm going to use this color. It's called Trippin'. It's a little bit of a champagne. Looks like it has a slight metallic texture to it. I'm going to use a dry brush. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to put that, I'll go up here by the brow. Okay, that's extremely subtle, maybe a little too subtle for me. And again, like I said, I'm not very familiar with nude palettes, but I could see using these colors, like if you were going to the wedding of someone who, you know, has sort of more conservative tastes, and you wanted to not shock them with bright colors when you show up at their wedding. This would be a really nice, this side of the palette would be really nice for that. You know, just a really nice, you can see it a little bit there. So, I just want to delve into the purples immediately. I'm trying to be good, but I think I'm going to use this taupe color. It's called Hacked. I'm going to use that for the crease to make a little bit of shadow. I'm going to wipe my brush off just on a towel so that it's clean. And I'll start out by using a dry brush. And it gathers up on the brush pretty well. And so far I'm not getting a lot of fall under my eyes that I can tell, so that's pretty decent. All right, go in here in the crease. So when you're going into the crease on your eyes, you want to turn your brush sideways. I think we talked about that before. It's going to help you kind of control the shape that you make. Ooh, I like this. I feel like this palette would be really nice for a grungy look as well, because a lot of grunge makeup looks kind of have this bruised / tired eyes sort of palette. And I say that laughing, but I actually really like a smoky, bruisey looking eyeshadow palette. So yeah, I like that. And it looks like a taupe in the pan, but it actually kind of has, at least on my skin, a little bit of almost a plum undertone. So I'm going to bring it all the way in my crease because I just like it. I think it looks nice. I'm being pleasantly surprised by this because, like I said, not a nude person. If anyone's ever played The Sims, there's a personality trait called Never Nude that you can give to your Sims and they will never undress. Just a little side note. But back on the subject of Megaman X4. So I've always played as X, who's the protagonist, Megaman. And he has like a gun that he can charge up and he gets fancy armor and everything. But you can also play through as an alternative character, Zero, who has a beam saber, and he's a little bit harder to play. James really likes to play as Zero. I had never played much as him because the last time we played long ago, I tried and I just couldn't get it. I didn't have a lot of patience for it. Okay. I think I'm getting carried away with my heavy crease, so I'm gonna back off. But that's what I've got so far. So, but this time around, so we've played through Megaman X4 and we beat it. I beat some of the bosses myself too, which was nice. Usually James will tell me before I go into the boss room what their pattern is so that I can have a snowball's chance in hell to possibly beat them. Usually I just go in and start blasting away. But sometimes I beat the boss. But we beat it, and then we played Megaman X5, which comes right after in the series. Alright, I'm going to start putting my purples in now. I'm going to use Optimize. This is sort of a light lilac. I'm going to build that in up here. And X5 is alright. It's not as good as X4. X4 I really, really love. It's probably one of my favorite games like that I've ever played. It's so sort of intuitive to me. It has like these beautiful animated cutscenes, and X5 does not have that. X5 also doesn't have like voice acting. So it's kind of pared down, but the story is good. I thought the story was pretty good. And we played through it and we beat it. And the nice thing about that is that then I started getting really comfortable with the mechanics of the game, and like my slowly gained skills, I feel like are starting to pay off. Ooh, I do like this. It's subtle. It's subtle, but I like it. And so after we played X5, we moved on to X6, but the difficulty just ramped up so much with X6, and the story was kind of stupid. So I wasn't having fun at all, and James was like, well, why don't we just play back through X4 as Zero? Because you get an alternative story when you play as Zero, who is another one of these like robot beings. So the premise of Mega Man, and I'm not going to go into extreme detail about this because I don't know all of the lore and everything, is that there were these creatures called Reploids. Well, by creatures, I mean they're like cyborgs, androids, human robots. And they're supposed to protect humans, I suppose. And then you have some of them start going maverick, and they're basically going against humans. And X is a maverick hunter, meaning he hunts down the Reploids that have started defying the order to protect humans. And so X is one, and then Zero is another. And so we're playing through currently as Zero, but in the midst of all of that, I'm going to start adding this color, which is called Warning. Here, adding some purple in. In the midst of that is when our friendly little Bet was born. And so, because you can have multiple save files, so James was kind of working on his boss battles in the midst of us playing as Zero. Zero. I like Zero better. His character design is really my aesthetic. He's got like this long blonde ponytail. Those of you who have played Mega Man X series are like, yeah, we know who Zero is. But Zero is, I guess, a little bit of the more angsty of the two, and just has I would just say a better character design overall. Definitely harder to play though, because there we go, I'm blending that in, because he doesn't have the same armor. He doesn't have a gun that can charge, so you have to actually fight with people up close instead of shooting them from far away, and which is my strategy, aka lack of strategy, is that if I don't get close to enemies, then they can't just wail on me while I stand there panicking. Pro tip: let enemies wail on you while you panic. It works out really well. I like this. This is kind of an orchid color, but I don't know that it's blending very well. with the nude. I will say the quality of this eyeshadow is really nice. Now, there is a blend, a mix of the ones that work well damp and ones that work well dry. And it's kind of a lottery of which is going to be which. I think I'm going to bring some of this warning, this color, down to the eyelid. I think that there needs to be a little more unity here. Yep, that is what's going to bring it together. And they blend nicely. So, all that to say, I got my coveted eyeshadow palette because of Megaman. And if anybody is thinking, oh, well, he couldn't beat the bosses without getting hit, I challenge you to do it. Now, granted, I can barely beat bosses as it is. I tend to feel that I just get lucky when I beat them most of the time. But he could beat all of them. Just the last one, Sigma, he has these, his third form, he like turns into all of these heads. It's just like a weird thing that Sigma like splits into all of these robotic heads. And some of them shoot fire or like suck in and then blow out like rocks or trash or whatever. And it pushes you into spikes. And there's just so much happening on the screen that, I mean, I can't beat Sigma at all. James has been the one that's had to beat him every time we've played anyway. Because it's just too much going on for me. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. Okay, first of all, this is super uneven. But, it's a work in progress. I think I need something bright in the center, and then I will be satisfied with this. So I'm going to use Lucid. Lucid is this. It's sort of a greenish... It's sort of an interference color. An interference color are colors that... they're iridescent, and when you look at them one way, they look one color, and when you look the other way. This one's sort of like, you look one way, it looks green, you look another way, it looks kind of lavender, but it's like a light white color. So I'm going to add that in the center, in the inner corner here. Ooh, yeah. So, if you've played any of the Mega Man X games, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're probably like... these videos, she just talks about random things. Welcome to my channel. That's what I do. Makeup and talking about random things in a disjointed fashion, interrupting myself with my thoughts about the makeup I'm trying to do. I feel like this is turning into a train wreck because I have no idea what the deal is with nudes, and my little thing keeps falling off. I think I need to do some like blending or something. I need to find a brush that's not damp to start with. And I'm going to... I took some of this original, the salmon color, the Mind Slip, and I'm blending it. Anyway, don't blame me if any of the information that I've recounted about Mega Man is incorrect, by the way. I may be recalling things incorrectly in terms of how the story goes or whatnot. That's why I kind of avoided going into the story too much, because we played several of the games in a row, and there's a very good chance that I'll just mix up what happened in which game, and then I'll look dumb. So I'll avoid that by being extremely non-specific. But the game is really fun because you get different upgrades to your weapons and your abilities. So you start out just kind of normal, and then your armor gets stronger so you can take more hits, and then you get the ability to like hover and dash and stick to walls and do all of these things that make the game you know, better to play. I tend to fall down holes a lot, so having the ability to hover is awesome for me. Okay, you know what? I'm going to call it here. I am going to put on some eyeliner and call it here because I really like these purples. Now, they feel a little heavy. It feels a little inexpert, I will admit, because it's a new palette. I'm going to soften this up here. I think it's a little hard. Okay. And then I'm going to put on some eyeliner. We'll see how it looks. But yeah, I was disappointed in Megaman X6. I really liked X4, obviously. X5, I thought the story was really good, and even though it was kind of pared down in a lot of ways, I still liked it. But then X6 just, it's like they had a lot of beginner's traps in it where you would just get killed by spikes or there'd be a hole somewhere stupid, and it was like too much of that to the point where it just sort of ruined the fun. Uh-oh, I'm running out of eyeliner. Whereas X4 feels like it teaches you to play the game as you go along without being over the top about it, without just like driving you crazy. Whereas in X5, there is a character that breaks in to your conversation and talks to you when you're trying to do things, and it can be annoying. But in X6, it got to be too much with it being, there was just too much crap happening all at once. And also the language translation is not very good in X6 because the game is very rushed, which results in some admittedly kind of funny translational errors. But it just feels like X4 was a labor of love, and then X5 and 6 were crammed out because X4 was so good. They wanted to, like, I don't know, jump on their own bandwagon. I'm adding a little bit of what's called purple dust, this dark one. Oops, out of focus. To line on the bottom a little bit. Basically creating a smoky eye, but with purple. Alright, so I'm going to mascara it up. If I can find it. This is definitely going to be a work in progress with learning to use these colors because, again, nude colors are not ones that I'm super familiar with using on the regular. I've been getting a little better about it with the Sailor Moon palette because it has some really nice neutrals and nudes, but I think I'll be revisiting maybe an exclusively nude look in a future video. But for now, here's what we've got. Oh, isn't it the fashion to part hair in the middle now? So make sure I'm fashionable. All right. Well, there is our Ultraviolet Naked palette look. Have a great day.